So one of the things that I've discovered uh, in struggling with guitar, apart from just the kind of the physical portions of it, which have been probably my biggest pitfall and the reason that I get very discouraged with it, just from the more theoretical standpoint of it, um, being mostly at least for the first like couple of years I was trying to play, I was going through YouTube like so many people do now. But the thing that kept escaping me was um, how the major and minor triads work in regard to say chords, and when you're learning specifically the open chords. So the thing that they don't really clarify, I don't think well enough, most people, is that while you are, when you're playing a strict open major or minor chord, um, and they'll talk about the major and minor triads, what they don't clarify is that those major and minor chords, while you're playing them across more than just three strings, that they're only made up of the major or the 1, 3, and 5, or the minor three and the five. So the flat three and the five, minor three, flat three, however you want to phrase that. So your major triads are in those chords, and your minor triads are in the minor versions of those chords. But a lot of times the notes are duplicated because that's how the guitar works. Is that you have uh, the same notes in various positions. So the notes will be repeated, and I mean you can just look at by default you have the repeating the E's on the top and bottom. But whenever you say, if you create like an A major chord, your standard stock vanilla A major, that that chord is made up of your 1, 3, and 5, but potentially varied octaves of your 1, 3, and 5. And the same goes for the minor variation of that. So if you're looking at A minor happens to have all the same notes as the C major scale, and both A minor and C major are all like natural notes. There's no flats or sharps in there. So when you look at that, A minor is a very good one to analyze because every note in there is a stock, not sharp, not flat note. So if we break that down, we have E's on top and bottom, and you've got a C here on your B string where you're fretting it at the first fret. Here on the G string, you're playing an A, right? But you also have an A here. So, and then on your D string, you're fretting the second fret, which is an E note. So you've actually got three E's in your A minor chord. You've got E, 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 and E. So hopefully that helps to clarify. If you're playing any note that is not a 1, 3, or 5, or a 1 flat 3 in the case of the minor and a 5, if you're playing any other notes than those three notes within that scale, starting on your root, you're playing something other than a vanilla major or minor chord. You're playing either like in the case of D, in your D major chord, all of those notes are safe, stock in your major scale. Or actually, they're in your major scale, of course, but that's your stock 1, 3s, and 5s. If you add your 4, this is your 3, starting on your D note, which is here. If you step up and go 1, 2, 3, you got your 3 there. When you add that note, you're getting your sus4, your 4th in the scale of D major, and so that becomes a D sus4. And so that's where those names come from. But it also helps to clarify that all of those notes are just replicated. It's not that you're playing anything other than those notes in the major or minor triad in those stock major and minor chords.